Hey there, true believers. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at MAFEX's The Dark Knight Trilogy, Bane. So without further ado, let's get into it. I gotta tell you guys that I was really excited that this guy came back in stock at Big Bad Toy Store. I had to get my hands on him. I had to pick him up. I really do like Tom Hardy's Bane. I think he's actually a really cool character in the movie. And, I mean, yeah, he's not the most comic book accurate Bane in terms of look or height. Obviously, he doesn't have the Venom or the Titan formula. Well, I guess Titan's only from the Arkham games, but the Venom or anything like that. But I think he's still a really cool character. And I think Tom Hardy knocked it out of the park. The voice doesn't bother me. Nothing about this character really bothers me at all. I think he's a really good version of Bane. And I think he kicks the previous Bane's ass. So, but they did a really good job on the figure. I think that they messed up the paint in some areas. You can see that the collar isn't really, or the lapel here isn't that perfect, and also the collar on the vest is a little bit messy. But for the most part, they did a really good job with the figure. He does come with this broken Batman cowl, which is a little strange because I don't think it looked like this in the movie. At least while it was off of his head, I think the entire time it looked like this. It might have cracked like this while it was still on Batman's head, but it's still a cool option. I prefer to have him hold it with this one because he can hold it a little bit better, at least the way I want him to, than this one. So I am glad that he came with that. And just to give you a little bit of a look, this is what it looks like compared to the version 3 Batman. It's a little bit smaller, which is a bit strange. I would assume that this is more so based off of the version 3 head sculpt. I don't think it's closer to the version 1 or version 2. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it is a little bit smaller. And the same goes for this one. This one isn't as noticeable though. Sorry about that, guys. I had to close the window. That was freaking obnoxious. Anyway, guys, it looks like these are just a little bit smaller than the normal Batman cowl, but that's okay. It still works very nicely. Here we have the sleeveless arms with Bane. They got some nice shading on here. It looks a little bit yellow on camera, but I assure you it's a nice normal flesh tone. And they did a good job with the little brace here. Kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed a little bit. I'm still fighting the cold, so I apologize for the sniffing and stuff. Got a grabby hand here, and a relaxed hand, and then the opposites of those are on the figure here. And then, of course, well, actually, I don't know why he came with these, but grabby hands. I mean, I guess you can still use these to hold Batman's cowl, but really, if you were only holding it from, like, the thing. See, the way he walks away with it, it's almost kind of like when he walks away with it in the movie, he kind of holds it like this, or he holds it in a down motion, I think. Something like this, but his hand is, like, angled up. I don't know how to describe it. So you can't really get him to hold it the way he did in the actual movie, if I remember correctly, but I might not be. But for the way the jacket looks, it looks pretty good. I definitely would probably have him displayed with the jacket. When I was getting him, I thought I was going to have him displayed with the bare arms, but I'm probably going to have him with the jacket, and I'll explain why. But just to get a good look at that head sculpt. That's really good. You can see the subtle scarring on the head. It looks a little bit weird in pictures, just because there's such a harsh difference between the skin tones, but you can't really fault MAFEX for that, in my opinion, because, I mean, that is how it looks in the movie. He does have scarring up around his head. So, I mean, they used a wash to pick up some of those details, which makes it stand out a little bit more. They could have made the rest of his skin a little bit dirty too, but it still looks pretty good. The details are pretty sharp. Looks like that this whole contraption right here is a separate piece. Interesting way to do that. I wonder how, I don't have the Mattel figure, but I wonder how Mattel did theirs. If they did a separate piece like that. I would assume they probably just painted it. But you can see that overall his proportions look pretty good as well. Just give you a quick size comparison. Here he is next to the version 2 MAFEX Joker. Actually, to have his legs a little closer together, that makes him just a little bit taller, but oh well. And then, of course, the man himself. Okay, you can stop dropping your batarang. The MAFEX version 3 Batman. I do have my own drape cape on there, and right now it's not cooperating, but it usually looks pretty fire. I can't believe I just said that. I don't know why I just said that, but anyway. The sickness is taking over. Yeah, he looks pretty good. That might be a bigger size difference than it is in the movie, but if that really bothers you, you can always take advantage of the drop-down hips. And I usually have my Batman in a little bit of a crouching pose since I've gotten him. I might switch it up, but he's been in a kind of a specific pose. I haven't done a review on this guy, even though I really want to, just because I changed the cape around. I can go ahead and change the other cape back easily, but I had an idea that I wanted to do with this figure, and that's kind of why I held off on doing the video, but we'll see what happens. I definitely will be doing a review of this guy. But back to Bane here. You want to take off his arms here, just pop them out. And I will tell you that I was thinking about putting him in this kind of display here. Obviously, he doesn't look like this at all in the movie. And I thought it was kind of a cool idea because it still is in the spirit of Bane with the whole kind of vest look. Get the best of both worlds. Get that sick collar and then the sleeveless arms. I don't know how I feel about it, though. I know a lot of purists or just sensible people will be like, no, that looks stupid. But I kind of like it. I kind of do, but I kind of don't at the same time because it's like, this is nonsense. I don't know. I haven't decided how I felt about it yet. Obviously, it wouldn't be accurate to anything in the movies, so that by itself would make me not want to do it because it's not screen accurate. You can see that they carried the sculpting up pretty far, kept it smooth right here, which I do like because I would imagine that helps with any kind of paint rub. But the part that kind of disappointed me when I originally took it out of the packaging was the whole design of the torso here and the design of the arms makes this look very gappy, unfortunately. Now, I have taken some pictures here. I'll probably put one of my pictures up on the screen. That way you guys can see one of the pictures I took. If you want to see some of the other pictures I take, go ahead and follow me on the Real Cox _studios on Instagram. You can see some of my work over there. But I was able to get some nice pictures where it's not super noticeable. You can see right here if you take a kind of like a 3-point stand or like an angled stand here and just bring that shoulder forward, it looks a little bit weird straight on, but if you take it like that, that's a good spot right there to have him standing on your shelf or something like that. It's not super noticeable. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it would have been cool if the shoulder, the base of the shoulder, you have this sitting in a little bit further, and you have the shoulder kind of extend a little bit just to fill up that gappiness. Or maybe if they gave you kind of like a shell piece, like a butterfly shell piece that sits inside the shoulder when it's on here, that kind of closes some of that gappiness. Because not only is it gappy, but it also makes the torso kind of look square-like. It actually kind of looks pear-like because the vest bulks out the sides, yet the shoulders, top of the torso goes inward. So it kind of messes up the proportions. What were really good proportions with the jacket on are now kind of wonky. But I do got to say that the articulation on this figure is pretty cool. And I want to get this guy in some cool like kicking poses and just Really good fighting poses. Now, the only figure I've ever had any type of problem with when it comes to MAFEX in their joints, any type of looseness at all, breakage, anything like that, is the original version 1 Batman, which in their defense, I believe that that was their second figure. And also, my MAFEX Far From Home Spidey had some type of defect and his leg broke. Other than that, I don't think I've had any other problems with MAFEX at all. So I've been very, very lucky compared to some other people. And I did say in my last MAFEX video that I think that some of the hate they get is undeserved. But it is deserved, you know, I mean, people spend a lot of money on these figures and they keep just getting more expensive and stuff, so I understand. I mean, now you got figures that are almost $150 before, before any type of tax or shipping or anything like that. But, you know, I think that they're really, I think MAFEX knocks it out of the park for the most part, and I've always been really happy with their products. But anyway, you want to get, I'll actually bring Batman in here again real quick, just so you guys can see a little bit of a size comparison without the jacket. So I think that Batman's a little bit narrow right now. Give him a little bit of a wider stance. You can see that that is a bit drastic. The way it's been on the shelf is I had Batman crouched and then Joker was in between, so I never really noticed that size difference right there. Even when I was taking some pictures of them together, they were never standing straight up and down, so I didn't really notice the size difference until now. But of course you can drop these hips down, and when he's wearing the jacket, that makes it a little less noticeable, but I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, it is accurate. I don't know if it's super accurate, but the fact that Bane by himself is shorter, that is accurate. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Go into detail a little bit more. I always kind of skip that part, showing you guys some good detail. I got to be better with zooming in here. You can see that there's a lot of different colors here. A lot of different paintwork. I think that looks really good. Very sharp. I don't know what this is. Is this a scar too? Damn, Bane got fucked up at some point. I guess when you're saving that little girl. Talia al Ghul. But yeah, this is, even his pants are a little bit different. So it looks like his zipper fell out and he sewed up his pants. That's some cool history. Look at that. Looks like he's got another rip on the bottom of his ass. What are you doing, Bane? Oh, that's the continuation of that zipper. I don't know. But that looks pretty cool. They did do this weird system here where you got 2 points of articulation at the bottom. You do get a little bit of a belly shirt action going on right there. I wonder why they did that, because you'd think that this would be the bottom of this. So if there was any skin showing anywhere, you'd think it would be underneath here, but I don't know. They did a really good job. I do gotta say that I really like the look of this figure. And it makes me appreciate the movie even more, because just how much detail that Christopher Nolan and team put into their suits and all that. Like the zipper missing, like who? I never noticed that. It's just a really cool detail. But for the articulation, his head and neck allows him to look up this far and down this far. Get a nice brooding Bane. That's pretty cool. And you do get allows for some amazing neck movement. That is way beyond attitude. That's some like Bane falling asleep action right there. You get some side to side. You do get a side to side from the base of the neck, but that's unnecessary in my opinion. It does make it look a little bit more natural actually than just a head turn. The shoulders go up this far. See, that's the thing right there, is that like it's so gappy in the arms right here, but it doesn't actually allow for any extra movement, so it would have been nice to have some sort of cap piece. I think that would have been the best way to do it. Some sort of cap piece that sits on top of the shoulder that just spaces this out a little bit better. And I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but it makes sense in my head, so I'm just going to go with it. Something similar to what they got going on with Ultron here. You can see that there's like a little swivel piece underneath there. Now, obviously, it would be bigger than that for this particular figure, but it would be something that maybe sits on here. They make this pin a little bit longer, and that sits on here, and it kind of caps off the joint, just to block some of that. I think that would be the best way to do it. Or to make the joint, actually, the shoulder bigger and have it sit deeper in the torso, just to fill in that joint, something like that. I think that would have been the best way to do it. But anyway, his arms go all the way around. You do get some very, very nice kind of like ball joint movement all the way around. Some bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Looks very sharp. Arms, shoulders, elbows about to come off. And then you get the wrist rotation, the hand rotation, and then the forward and back, and any other direction you want, depending on how it's sitting. So that's pretty cool. And that's the same for this gloved hand. So you get some rotation up here. You get some crunching down with just that joint, which, like I said, this makes this look a little bit weird, but you get some back movement. I'll just show you what it looks like all together, which is very, very good. All kinds of pivot, all kinds of everything. You can do anything you want right here. It's a little bit limited going forward compared to backwards, but that's still really good. And the legs, this is already dropped down, so the legs go forward. Looks like they start to kick out a little bit. That's awfully thin around there. I'm not sure if I like that. That's pretty thin plastic right there, but gonna want to be careful with that. But the legs are a little bit limited. They go out, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, very nice. No boot rotation, ankle rotation. They go down a little bit, up a little bit more. Do get a little bit of ankle pivot, and then you get some nice toe articulation. So I do gotta say, if you guys are interested, I would definitely pick up this figure. I've had him for, I don't know, maybe a week now. Maybe not that long. A couple of days I've had him. And I've taken some nice pictures with him, and I messed around with him a little bit. And I think he's a really, really cool figure. And the more I see this configuration right here, the more I like it. Because I like those bare arms, and I think the jacket makes the figure look better. Let me know what you guys think about this look right here. See, my OCD says stop it, and then, but I think it looks good still. Alright guys, I'll give you another size comparison right here. This is going to be a little bit longer of a video, but I'll give you another size comparison. A little peek at my Homecoming Spidey. I don't know why I just showed you guys this again, because I said in my previous video that this is not a good size comparison because he's shorter than yours. I've made the head sit lower and the legs sit lower. So if you put this next to anything else, it's not a good size comparison. But that is a figure I'm working on. Here's your trusty Worthy cap. Cap is 6 foot, I believe. And then here's your comic book style Iron Man. So, you know, you got that right there. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, I think I just stole Wylon Customs thing, my bad. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. And of course, until next time, true believers.